Hi, I would like to introduce you to a tool I developed a few years ago. Its name is Personal Vision of Present. Don't let the name confuse you. You can imagine of the Personal Vision of Present canvas as a tool to find your core values and to help you define how are you going to plan your days. It's something similar to the old concept of having a mission, in this case a personal mission, and it has proven to be very useful, not only to me, but to many persons that use the canvas. I'm going to introduce you to how it looks, and I'm going to tell you how to feel it. Okay, so now that you can see how the canvas looks like, the first thing you need to do is to imagine, to visualize what would happen in the day of your birthday number 70. That visualization needs to be taken serious. Okay, so you will need to have a space and time to be quiet, uninterrupted, and that you will be able to concentrate. Close your eyes and really imagine the whole day of your birthday number 70. And actually, since the beginning until the end of the day, try to get deep into the details. Since you wake up, what happens after, what do you see, and try to remember. Okay, so what happens during that day? You are not going to share this with anybody, so feel free to let your imagination fly. Now that you've finished with this first part of the process, I would like you to take a paper and start taking some notes about what captured your attention during that visualization. What did you see there that made you think, oh, that's a surprise. That's something I was not imagining earlier that is important for me. After you have that list and you reflect upon the visualization you did, I will ask you to take your canvas and check the column that says main elements of your vision. And I will ask you 5 elements that you took note of that were interesting for you. Write them there. For example, in my case, what happened is that I imagined that I was living in a different house, that this house was very minimalistic, and that I was living close to the mountains and the lake. Currently, I live far away from the mountains. There's a small lake close, but it's not the one that I imagined. So it captured my attention how many different things I saw for my future, right? So being in the mountains, close to a lake, in a minimalistic and small house, those were 2 things that captured my attention. So I wrote them. Those are main elements of my vision. Okay? And then what you're going to do is try to write on the column on the right side, what is that meaning to you? That requires a bit of an effort from your side. So what does it mean to me, the fact that I have a small minimalistic house and I'm living close to the mountains and the lakes, and a lake at least? Well, it means freedom. To me, it means freedom. That I can choose to go out and enjoy of the lake. I love the mountains, to see them or to walk or to organize trekkings, etc. That's important for me. And the meaning is possibility. Okay? So I would write this in the space for meaning. But as I already suggested, you will see that there is another column that says associated value. So what's the value connected with this element of my visualization? To me, is freedom. So then you write the associated value here is freedom. And I'm going to put in the ID column an A or a 1, whatever you want to. So like to identify it. Because it is likely that in the other elements that you are going to write, you will find that some of them are connected to the same value. So it is good to know if you have multiple times the same value. So in my case, 2 or 3 times A, and A means freedom. Okay, so now that you finish this first big section of the canvas, you may be asking, okay, but how does it connect with a vision of present? Okay, so what I found is that values, principles, are intemporal, are very much the same thing if you have 10 years old, 15, 20, or 70. And when you have a visualization to the future, you are normally imagine what's the best scenario that can happen with your life. And the values that you identify present in that visualization are very likely important for you today. That means that you can bring your vision of future to the present through your values. Okay, I believe you are almost ready to start crafting your vision of present. Now, I'm going to tell you a bit more about the example that you find on the canvas. It's about Disney's mission that says they want to make people happy. Obviously, the value we are talking about here is happiness. And notice that the way they write that vision, right, is in present tense. We want to make people happy. When? Today. So the key factor for crafting your vision of present is to think about the values that you found important in your visualization, and at the same time to write it in present tense. So don't worry too much about how to write your vision of present. You can go through multiple iterations of it, and I really invite you to experiment and to be patient. You can even share the process with your friends or colleagues, your family members, so that they can give you some feedback that might be illuminating, right? In my case, as you will see in the canvas, there's a canvas that is filled in the document that you downloaded, and you will see which are the 3 different aspects that I thought about for vision of present. So you have a personal vision of present, you have a professional vision of present, so connected with your work, and you have a social vision of present, so that means what happens between you and the rest. In the case of the personal vision of present, let me read it to you. Be free to create, enjoy, and celebrate. And that is associated with the values that I called A and B. A is freedom, and B is family. And B is also quality relationships. Okay? So be free to create, enjoy, and celebrate. When? Today. Now, when I think more about my work, I would say, I want to support authentic entrepreneurship, building solid and beneficial relationships. So this is B plus C. There's an aspect of recognition here that I'm looking for, if I'm honest. And in the case of a social vision of present, what I said is connect knowledge, people, and opportunities. And in this case is A plus B plus C. Okay, so try to do the same thing and come up with your first version. The great thing of a canvas is that you can use it multiple times, right? You have the PDF, you can annotate, you can write digitally, you don't need to print it, and you don't need to spend paper and ink. After a few iterations, you might start finding amazing things that can change your life. The logo we use for Vision of Present is an oak leaf and an acorn. It's a bit of an analogy of how a tree grows, right? And the question that started it all was, is the design or the future of the tree defined by the acorn, the seed? And of course not, right? The acorn is just the start. And then the tree adapts every day to the different circumstances and is going to grow as a big tree and a solid, massive tree despite everything that happened, like storms and strong winds, etc. So the beautiful oak tree is the result of everything that happens to it every day, right? And we think that in our case is very similar. We don't know what is going to be the final version of ourselves, but we know that every day we are making something that will contribute to that final version of ourselves. The truth is that we have only the present to evaluate. So at this precise point in time, I am the most evolved version of myself. The same happens to you. So in the case of vision of present, the idea is that you are going to be able to go every night to sleep and ask yourself if you did something in alignment with your vision of present. So you can ask yourself, or I can ask myself, in the case of my personal vision of present, was I free today to create, enjoy, and celebrate? Well, actually, I went for lunch with my friend, and we were celebrating because we are actually developing a new business. So, great. In the case of my professional vision of present, support authentic entrepreneurship, building solid and beneficial relationships. The same lunch was a meeting about business, encouraging entrepreneurship, so I would say that yes. Social vision of present, connect knowledge, people, and opportunities. This is exactly what I did today. So I'm feeling great, and I think that I added a layer to my development to be the best version that I can be. So what happens then is that when I'm going to sleep with a sense of achievement. And when that happens multiple times per week, you can just be feeling better and better. Now the question that is left is that my purpose? Is the vision of present the same than my purpose? And here I would like to tell you something more. So what is purpose? It's very difficult to define. I know that purpose is not the same than objective. So my purpose is not what I want to achieve in the future. Actually, I think that my purpose is about the why I want to achieve something. It's very much connected with the why. But let me add that to me, purpose is very much about a tool to balance how I feel. I'm going to elaborate a bit more. In my life, I have enjoyed similar activities. For example, when I was a young boy, I loved going to the park with my friends, climbing a tree, and imagining that we have a club, that we are Boy Scouts, and that we are going to embrace adventure. What I was really trying to do there, and with all these stories that we were sharing, it was to connect with them, to share stories, and to share my philosophies, the things that I learned so far. It's exactly what I'm doing right now. I enjoy to share with others the things that I learned, the things that I found, that I discovered. It's not that I am a teacher, because I'm not qualified, but I'm just a person that likes to share what I learned as a way of giving perspective. Okay? So when analyzing my past, I managed to learn which are the kind of activities that I enjoy. And I found that it was constant. Multiple scenarios, but always the same thing. So, if purpose is a constant in your life, and you can learn about your purpose when analyzing the past, what you need to do is something similar to the vision of present. The vision of present was bringing your values from the future to the present. I think that your purpose is a bit like visualizing or remembering your past and identifying what is the common thread. And with that common thread, craft a text that tries to explain what your purpose might be. In my case, my purpose is to share what I learned. So before I start explaining you too much about purpose, I wanted to show you this specific graphic that I think is ultra important. In this graphic, you're going to see a timeline. You're going to see a line that expresses how you feel, your emotions. And in there, you're going to see that there's a spectrum, an area of the graphic that is where your emotions are not extreme. So, to me, purpose is not a magical word. It's not kind of a destiny. To me, purpose is a tool to balance how I feel, to make me feel good, to help me feel good and balanced. In order for my purpose to help me, I need to be able to know how I'm feeling and to make a simple question. Am I aligned with my purpose? That is going to help me find out if the reason why I'm feeling down or feeling too high is because of some kind of misalignment between what I normally like doing and what I'm doing. I'm going to prepare more materials and more content for you connected to the topic of purpose. It's much longer than what I can express today in this video. But anyway, now you have your vision of present canvas filled. You have 3 aspects of your vision of present, and you have a clue on how to start discovering what your purpose might be. With this graphic, now you know that you can use your purpose to balance your emotions, right? So that you feel every day the best that you can under the circumstances, and that you know what you need to do to feel all right. So with this, I leave you, and see you soon in the next video. Thank you for watching.